They said I'd slow down after 70. That I'd become forgetful, frail, vulnerable to the illnesses that so often arrive quietly with age, like unwelcome guests in the night. But today, I'm 92. I drove myself here. I still walk each morning. I still remember the names of every one of my grandchildren. And I haven't had a single cold in over 3 decades. Not a fever. Not an ache. Not one missed day of life. You might think it's luck. Or genes. Or perhaps some secret supplement only doctors know about. But I can assure you, it's none of those things. What kept me strong all these years were 5 humble habits. Ordinary, almost laughably simple things. But practiced with fierce consistency and a quiet reverence. These small acts, performed daily, without fail, rewired my biology. And perhaps, they saved my life. Let me tell you how it began. It was the morning after my 62nd birthday. I woke up groggy, shoulders tight, legs heavy. I shuffled to the bathroom as I always did. But this time, I stumbled. My foot caught a rug, and I crashed into the edge of the sink. No major injuries. Just a bruise and a burst of clarity. Because in that moment, I realized something essential: aging does not begin with a disease. It begins with ignoring the whispers of your own body. That morning, I made a decision. Before my feet ever touched the floor again, I would greet my body like an old friend. I would send it a signal, before the news, before the emails, before the coffee, that I was here. Awake. Alive. And ready. So now, every morning, I lie still for 90 seconds. I stretch my fingers. Roll my ankles. I breathe, long and deep, 3 times. And as I wriggle my toes and slowly rotate my wrists, I say silently, "Thank you. We're still here." It may sound small. But neurologically, it's massive. You see, the moment you wake, your body is in transition. Your blood is thicker. Your joints are stiff. Your nervous system is still recalibrating from the night's rest. And if you jump straight into the chaos of the day, rushing, checking your phone, moving too fast, your body never has a chance to reorient. That's when injuries happen. That's when inflammation begins. That's when the slow march toward chronic illness accelerates. But this simple ritual, just 90 seconds of mindful motion, tells your body, we are not in danger. We are safe. We can begin. And science agrees. The National Institute on Aging has confirmed that light mobility upon waking improves circulation, enhances mental clarity, and reduces the risk of falls in older adults. It's not a stretch. It's not yoga. It's a message. And that message, over time, becomes a medicine more potent than any pill. After my morning movement, I rise. And then I drink something golden. It's not a powder sold online. It's not some miracle supplement with a fancy label. It's water, warm and humble, infused with the juice of half a lemon, a pinch of turmeric, and a whisper of black pepper. Just 3 ingredients. But together, they've kept my immune system vigilant, my digestion smooth, and my inflammation low for over 30 years. Let's break it down. Lemon, rich in vitamin C, floods the body with antioxidants within minutes. It supports your white blood cells, your frontline defenders against infection. And according to the Linus Pauling Institute, vitamin C also shortens illness duration, aids in liver bile production, and improves gut function, especially vital for older adults, whose stomach acid tends to decrease with age. Then there's turmeric, the golden root revered for centuries. Its active compound, curcumin, has been shown in study after study to reduce inflammatory markers in the body. That means less joint pain, less brain fog, and a dramatically reduced risk of chronic disease. But turmeric alone isn't enough. That's why I add black pepper. Why? Because pepper contains piperine, a compound that boosts the absorption of curcumin by 2000%. Without it, turmeric barely enters your bloodstream. But with it, your cells drink it in like rain after a drought. This golden tonic, lemon, turmeric, black pepper, is not a health trend. It's a tradition. One I've honored every morning for 3 decades. It costs next to nothing. It takes 5 minutes to make. But it has rewired my digestion, stabilized my energy, and built an immune system that doesn't flinch, even in flu season. I call it my morning medicine. Not because it came from a pharmacy, but because it came from knowing what my body truly needs. After I drink my golden glass, I lace up my shoes. And I walk. Not for exercise. Not to burn calories. But to heal. 15 minutes. Every morning. Rain or shine. No music. No podcasts. Just breath and rhythm. Inhale for 4. Exhale for 6. Arms swinging gently. Spine tall. Smile soft. They say walking is simple. But it is not small. It is profound. It is primal. It is the medicine your ancestors took long before doctors wore white coats. When you walk, you move your lymph. You oxygenate your blood. You synchronize your heart with your lungs, your brain with your breath. It's a full body reset. A neurological recalibration. A silent declaration, I am still in motion. A study from Stanford University found that walking improves creative thinking and mental focus more than any seated activity. Another study published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine found that walking for just 20 minutes a day significantly lowers inflammation in older adults, even reducing C-reactive protein levels, the same marker linked to heart disease and Alzheimer's. But here's the truth that science rarely says plainly. The real magic of walking is that it makes you feel ageless. I remember the day I skipped my walk. I had an early appointment and told myself I'd make it up later. But later never came. And by noon, I felt old. Not tired. Not sore. Just old. Like my joints had borrowed someone else's stiffness. Like my lungs had forgotten how to stretch. That day taught me a lesson: walking isn't optional. It's foundational. So I walk. Even when it's cold. Even when I'm sad. Even when the world feels heavy. Because each step is a vote for vitality. A whisper to my bones, we are not done. And when I return, I don't feel older. I feel rewired. By the time I return from my walk, the world is still quiet. And so is my mind. There's a stillness after movement, a kind of gentle clarity that only comes when you've honored your body first thing in the morning. And in that space, I prepare the meal that became my anchor, what I call the brain and body breakfast. It's not fancy. No pancakes, no toast drowning in jam, no sugary cereals promising false energy. Just what the body craves most after 60, clean, complete, powerful protein. For me, that means 1 boiled egg. A cup of Greek yogurt. A small handful of walnuts. And a spoonful of blueberries, the tiny fruit that science keeps calling a miracle. Now, I know what some might think: I eat well enough. Isn't that enough? But here's what most people don't realize, especially as they age. After 60, your body stops absorbing protein as efficiently. The same meal that built strong muscles at 40 barely maintains them at 70. And if you don't adapt, you lose muscle. You lose balance. You lose memory. You lose resilience. At 60, I felt it. Despite eating healthy food, I began to weaken. My energy faded before noon. I forgot appointments. I'd walk into a room and forget why I was there. I didn't feel old. But something vital was slipping. So I went to a colleague, a brilliant geriatrician I trusted. And he said, it's not age. It's protein. That was the turning point. Because protein is not just for athletes. It's for anyone who wants to heal faster, think clearer, and stay on their feet. You see, proteins are the building blocks of life, literally. Your immune cells are made of them. Your brain chemicals, your tissue repair enzymes, even the antibodies that fight off infection. All made from amino acids. And not just any protein will do. You need complete protein, meaning it has all 9 essential amino acids your body cannot make on its own. Eggs? Perfect score. Greek yogurt? Dense, complete, and also packed with gut-loving probiotics. Walnuts? While not complete on their own, they deliver omega-3s that reduce inflammation in the brain. And blueberries? They contain anthocyanins, powerful antioxidants that protect neurons and sharpen recall. This breakfast has more than 25 grams of high-quality protein, and more importantly, it gave me back something that age had quietly started to steal, my vitality. Within weeks, my mind was clearer. No more crashing mid-morning. No more forgotten details. I was sharper, steadier, and stronger. Science backs this up. A landmark study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that seniors who consumed 25 to 30 grams of protein per meal maintained more lean muscle mass, experienced fewer hospitalizations, and most strikingly, lived longer. Another study from Tufts University showed that seniors who increased their protein intake responded better to vaccines, healed from wounds faster, and had lower rates of infection. Why? Because protein builds not just muscle, but resilience. And that's the real goal. Not just staying strong, but staying ready for life. Now, don't get me wrong, my breakfast isn't rigid. Some days I swap in cottage cheese with flax seeds. Other days, it's a lentil scramble or a small piece of grilled salmon on sprouted toast. But the rule never changes. Never skip protein. Especially at breakfast. Because your body decides how it will function that day based on the fuel you give it at sunrise. And if that fuel is just sugar and caffeine, it's like trying to drive cross-country on fumes. The beauty is, you can start this tomorrow. No matter your age. No matter your past. You just need to begin. Because your body doesn't care how old you are. It only cares how well you care for it. And that brings me to the fourth habit. One that may seem unrelated to health, but in truth, it's the cornerstone of everything. I call it mental tuning. And I do it before I check the news. Before I look at my calendar. Before I even open the blinds. It's not meditation. Not therapy. Just 3 quiet minutes, eyes closed, spine tall, heart soft, where I imagine how I want to feel that day. Not what I want to do. But how I want to feel. I picture myself calm. Strong. Helpful. Grounded. I see myself moving through the day with steadiness, speaking kindly, driving confidently, smiling often. Why? Because the brain can't distinguish between something vividly imagined and something real. That's not spiritual fluff. It's neuroscience. In studies at Harvard and verified through fMRI scans, researchers found that when people vividly imagine a task like lifting weights or playing the piano, the same regions of the brain light up as when they perform the action physically. This consistent imagery rewires neural pathways. It trains the body through the mind. So I use that knowledge. Each morning, I rehearse a version of myself that is patient, present, capable. At 92, that practice has become my compass. My nervous system no longer wakes up in defense mode. My cortisol stays low. My blood pressure remains steady. My heart rate variable and healthy. Because stress, especially prolonged stress, is one of the greatest threats to senior health. It weakens immunity. Damages brain cells. Strips muscle. Clouds memory. All without warning. And the problem is, we often carry stress silently. We don't even recognize it until it manifests as dizziness, chest tightness, insomnia, or digestive pain. That's why this mental tuning practice is not a luxury. It's a necessity. I think of a dear friend, same age, similar genetics, same medical history. But he was constantly anxious. Politics, money, the news, he carried the weight of it all. He was always in a state of what if. One day, without warning, he collapsed from cardiac stress. He survived. But something had changed in him forever. Later, he asked me, "How come you're never shaken? Don't you ever worry?" I told him the truth, I do worry. But I don't feed it. I acknowledge it, then close the door. Anxiety is a thief. And each morning, I lock that door with my intention. Because here's what the science shows. According to a 2016 study from the University of Wisconsin-Madison, adults over 65 who practiced just 5 minutes of daily mental rehearsal experienced lower anxiety, sharper attention, and enhanced immune response, with effects that lasted for days. And this is the quiet miracle: once your mind is calm, your body follows. Blood pressure drops. Digestion improves. Hormones rebalance. Your immune system wakes up. And you begin to age, in reverse. You don't need mantras. Or candles. Or chanting in Sanskrit. Just stillness. Just breath. Just intention. Imagine this: you, at any age, behind the wheel, driving your own life, calm, steady, strong. Not by accident. Not by luck. But by daily design. Because when you rehearse resilience, your body begins to believe in it. And slowly, steadily, it becomes true. So now you've heard 4 of the habits. Morning motion. The golden tonic. The healing walk. The protein-rich breakfast. And the silent ritual of tuning your mind. They don't sound revolutionary, do they? They're not trendy. They don't involve devices or downloads or expensive tests. They don't promise overnight miracles. And yet, they've kept me illness-free for over 3 decades. No hospitalizations. No flus. No crashes of energy. No fading of memory. But the truth is, there's one more. The 5th habit. The one I never talk about first because it's so often dismissed. Not because it lacks evidence, but because it requires something modern life rarely encourages. Stillness after sunset. You see, health is not just about what you do in the day, it's also about what you allow at night. After the movement, after the food, after the intentions and decisions, your body needs one final gift: recovery. And most people skip it. They race through their evenings, bright screens, late dinners, news headlines, endless scrolling, and then they wonder why they wake up exhausted, anxious, aching. But your body can't repair when your nervous system is still bracing. It can't rebuild when cortisol is still elevated. It can't produce melatonin when your brain thinks it's noon. So here's my secret. Each night, before I sleep, I perform a simple, sacred act. I put the day to rest with intention. No television. No late-night caffeine. No last-minute headlines. Just me. A soft light. A gentle stretch. And one small, powerful food that supports deep recovery. And no, it's not melatonin. It's not a sleeping pill. It's not wine or warm milk or a lavender-scented gadget. It's a small bowl of cottage cheese. Yes, really. About half a cup. Sometimes with a few slices of banana. Sometimes with a sprinkle of cinnamon. Sometimes plain. Why? Because cottage cheese is rich in casein protein, a slow-digesting protein that feeds your muscles and brain while you sleep. It supports recovery, prevents muscle breakdown, and keeps your blood sugar stable through the night. No spikes. No crashes. Number 3 a.m. awakenings. And that alone would be enough. But there's more. Cottage cheese is also high in tryptophan, a precursor to serotonin, which helps produce melatonin naturally. In other words, this humble food, quiet and unassuming, is biologically designed to support calm, restful, rejuvenating sleep. I began eating it 30 years ago, after reading a small study published by Maastricht University in the Netherlands. It showed that consuming casein protein before bed increased muscle protein synthesis in older adults significantly. But it wasn't until I experienced it for myself that I became a believer. After just 1 week of adding it to my evening ritual, I noticed something strange. I didn't wake up sore. I didn't toss and turn. I didn't wake up with that groggy heaviness. I simply woke up ready. And it hasn't stopped since. Some nights, if I don't feel like cottage cheese, I'll swap in a hard-boiled egg or a small handful of pumpkin seeds, or a slice of turkey on sprouted grain toast. But the principle never changes. You must nourish your body before you rest. Not with sugar. Not with alcohol. But with something real. Something restorative. Something that whispers to your body, "You've done enough today. Now heal." Because healing is not just what you do when you're sick. It's what your body does every single night when you allow it. And when you begin to honor that process night after night, you'll realize something that changed the entire trajectory of my life. Aging isn't what breaks us. It's neglect. Neglecting the signals. Neglecting the rituals. Neglecting the sacred truth that every cell in your body wants to protect you, but only if you give it the chance. I know this because I didn't always live this way. At 55, I was tired all the time. I had heartburn. My memory slipped. My joints creaked. I laughed less. I moved slower. I was quietly deteriorating. And then, I stopped waiting for illness to wake me up. Instead, I rewired my life. One tiny habit at a time. I didn't need a personal trainer. I didn't need a miracle cure. I didn't need to reverse time. I just needed to listen. And respond. To wake up slowly. To sip something golden. To walk with breath. To feed myself with intention. To rehearse resilience. And to rest with reverence. And now, 3 decades later, I can say this. I am not lucky. I am not genetically gifted. I am not superhuman. I am simply practiced in the art of respecting this body I've been given. Because your body, even now at 65, 70, 80, is not giving up on you. It is responding to you. And every choice you make whispers to it, let go, or hold on. Every skipped walk, every processed meal, every night spent staring at blue light instead of moonlight, it all adds up. So does every act of care. That's why I'm here to tell you, it's not too late. You haven't missed your window. You haven't gone too far. You haven't failed. Because health doesn't disappear all at once. It slips away quietly, unnoticed, in the things we say we'll fix tomorrow. But it comes back the same way. In quiet decisions. In daily rituals. In cups of warm water, and soft stretches, and bowls of protein beneath a dim lamp at night. You won't feel the change in a day. But one morning, weeks from now, you'll rise without the heaviness. You'll walk without the ache. You'll speak without forgetting. You'll feel a strength that doesn't shout, but simply hums beneath your ribs. I am well. I am not afraid. I am still here. And if you do these 5 things, not perfectly, not fanatically, but faithfully, you will not just age. You will live. Live with presence. Live with power. Live with peace. So if you've ever wondered what it would feel like to be 92 and vibrant, this is it. It's not magic. It's not a secret. It's just a quiet revolution, begun by one choice, and sustained by 5 habits. The signal you send to your body before your feet hit the floor. The golden drink that greets your cells with healing. The sacred walk that rewires your brain and joints. The breakfast that restores your muscles and memory. The evening meal that repairs you as you rest. These are the 5 anchors that held me upright for 30 years. And they can do the same for you. You are not too old to begin. You are not too weak to become strong. And your body, no matter how long it's been ignored, is still listening. So tomorrow, when the sun rises, give it a reason to believe in you again. Because health, at any age, is not a gift. It's a quiet promise you keep with yourself. And every day you honor that promise is a day you do not grow old. Before you go, if this message stirred something inside you, if you're ready to walk differently, eat differently, think differently, then don't just watch and forget. Subscribe now to Healthcare. Because every week, we share real medical wisdom that helps you protect what matters most. Your strength, your memory, your independence, and your dignity. Tap the bell so you never miss a moment of healing. And if today's message spoke to you, leave a comment below with the words, "I'm ready." Because it's never too late to begin again. And you, my friend, are already on your way.